Life requires us to make many, many decisions, doesn't it? From small day-to-day easy decisions all the way through to life-changing decisions. And when it comes to making them, how are you with regards to that? Are you someone who struggles to make them? You're not very clear and you struggle to get clarity? Or are you someone who can understand what you need and you can make those decisions pretty well? Because today I'm going to teach you a process to strengthen the quality of your decision making. We're in an age right now where we need to find a way to be able to access all that is available to us to make clear decisions based on our own truths. Otherwise, we're giving our power away to people that are telling us what is best for us or what is right for us. Especially in today's age of polarisation, where we've got so many different sides where we're being pushed to take one side based on what the majority are doing. To break this down a little bit, we have our mind and our thoughts, and we have our body and our feelings to make decisions. We're all used to our inner critic, that negative inner chat dialogue going on that's full of doubt and criticism. But how tuned in are you to your body and what it's telling you? This week is part one of a two-part series looking at how to make better decisions. What I see so often is people completely disconnected from their body. I was for such a long time. And within my career in Olympic sport, I perceive the body as just a machine rather than a source of intelligence, which was a huge error for me. Our body is a ship that carries us through life, isn't it? And it contains an undeniable truth if we can connect to it. Today, I'm going to teach you a process called the 80-20 rule and how to apply that to your decision making to get clearer, more accurate decisions that are right for you. Let's discuss. Welcome back to episode 13, and like I said, this is part one of a part two series. Thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify, really appreciate it. If you are valuing this content, the views are going up, so if you really value it, please leave a comment below or in the podcast description. It's just going to help more and more people to find this content, and also it'd be great to hear from you to see what you like and what maybe you want to see in the future. I'm Richard. As you know from the Conscious Life Collective, we help individuals and organizations reach and harness their full potential, simply being because we feel the world is better when you're living your most connected and authentic expression. And at the core of that is making better decisions. So today, this is what we're going to dive into today and next week. And I'm going to teach you the 80-20 rule and how to apply it to make clearer, better decisions for you. If you learn this skill and you use it wisely in your life, one, you're going to clear more space in your mind, so you're going to have a quieter mind. Two, you're going to intercept negative thought processes or patterns. And three, you're going to positively affect people around you. It's truly profound. And so I want to ask you, how does your body feel? I don't mean how firm it is, or how sore you feel after a workout, or how cold it feels if you're in an ice bath. What I mean by that is, how does your body change, or how does it feel when you eat different foods? How does it feel when you notice discomfort and you breathe into it? Or even how does it feel intimately when you connect with your partner, your body against theirs, and you just breathe? What do you sense? If you're like the majority, you probably don't tune into that. You're probably unaware of what changes. And that's okay, because you're listening right now and you're going to begin to start to develop your skill of doing that. So the 80-20 rule, or otherwise known as the Pareto principle, the simplest way of explaining it is that for 20% of effort, we get 80% results. Now, it could be 30 and 70, it could be 40 and 60. It's not exact science, but the idea that the smallest core amount of work that we do creates the most change in our life. And then we get caught in the trap in trying to chase that last little bit of perfection, which never happens, does it? Perfect doesn't exist. And you can apply that to many, many things in life. And so this week and next week, I'm going to teach you how you can apply it to improve the way you make decisions. So today in part one, I'm going to discuss why we need to direct 80% of our time, the majority of our time, into our body, and how that unlocks profound insights and impact within our life. Next week, part two, I'm going to discuss, so that'll be episode 14, I'm going to discuss what is the most powerful 20% of effort that we can put towards our mind, our mental scans, and our decision making. So this is really going to start to narrow your focus and to hopefully, if you begin to apply this, give you filters and more clarity and more unbiased ways of seeing and making decisions. So just to reintroduce you to the fact that your body and your mind is a complete ecosystem. There's no separation. We are this amazing unit all of us have, no matter what size or shape or age, whatever. We have this incredible ecosystem to use as a tool. And most of the information we receive is coming from our body to our brain. And as I said, most people are disconnected from their body. They're just neck upwards. So missing out on so much information that I'm going to introduce you to. And so the idea that we have afferent sensory data. And all that means simply is that we have sensory data coming from our body going to our brain. And then we have efferent sensory data, which is going from our brain to our body. And for every 10 bits of information coming from our body to our brain, there's only one going back from our brain to our body. So there's so much information coming through that we can pay attention to and we can listen to and we can learn from. You've probably heard of the gut-brain axis and you've probably heard of the heart-brain axis. And if not, then I'm going to touch on that a little bit now. So the gut-brain axis, I steer you towards someone called Zach Bush, incredible man. There are many, many people doing it, but he's someone that stands out to me. Amazing, amazing guy. But his research looking at the microbiome and how important our gut is to decision making. If we begin to eat inflammatory foods, so high sugar, high processed, for example, it affects our mood, it affects our clarity in our mind, it affects our decision making. And so our gut is one of the primary sources to how we make sense of the world. And then we have a heart-brain connection. So our heart communicates with our brain and our brain communicates with our heart. But our heart has 40,000 neurons in, so same neurons that the brain contains. And so intuition, a strong intuitive sense, is a true decision-making signal. And I steer you towards HeartMath Institute, and they have studied the heart for like 25 years. And one of their findings is that we have a heart wave, electromagnetic wave, that extends outside of each and every one of us about several feet. And so when we're feeling feelings such as anger, resentment, or fear, then that wave is incoherent. So it's jagged, it's not stable. When we're in feelings such as appreciation or love or gratitude, we are in a coherent heart wave. So the wave of that measurable field changes significantly with how we feel. So extending on that, we all know that inner truth that we have inside of us. You know, kind of when you've made that decision, when you know deep inside of you that something is right or something is wrong. And I link it to myself, how it feels with me. There's an expansion in my chest. There's a lightness in my chest. When I know something's right, a deep truth, I feel excitement. You could call it excitement within me. I just know. You must have felt this as well. You definitely have. You just know that decision is right for you and there's no questioning it. I'll also link that to other states, awareness, whether that's a psychedelic state, the deep truths that are revealed in a psychedelic experience, where it's just a known, it's in your body. It's not a cognitive decision, it's in your body knows it's true. Breath work, or in flow, or when you're out in nature, or for me, when I'm with my daughter sometimes, there's just a clarity, an absolute clarity of what matters. Nothing much matters apart from love and being with her in the present moment. So linking that back to the body, our body is telling us what's right. It's undeniable truth that we have within us. All we've got to do is connect with it. And this is what I mean when I say spending 80% of your time within your body and assessing what's happening within it, what's going on, what are the senses you're picking up on. Secondly, trauma gets held within our body and in our fascia in particular. And I steer you towards Peter Levine and somatic experiencing. Trauma can be anything. So obviously it can be extreme physical or mental abuse. It could also be that time where you were playing contact sport or you fell over or whatever. It could be many, many different things. There's a huge spectrum of what trauma is. It could be an injury. And so if we don't release that, it stays within our body, it stays within our system, and it begins to inform how we make decisions. You could also describe that as triggers. You know, the triggers that we sense, if you're aware of them, are held within our body until we learn how to release them. So I'm going to introduce you to intraception and simply see that as interior perception, what's going on within you. And so before we have emotions, we are having sensations. And so if I'm feeling one way or the other at my core metabolic being, that's going to significantly influence the choices I make. And I'm going to link it to the court judge research, which you want to get seen before 9 and 11 o'clock in the morning rather than the afternoon sessions, because the judges are in a lower mood and give out harsher sentences in the afternoon. And so the judicial process that is meant to be consistent and impartial is determined by whether a judge is hangry or not. That's massive, isn't it? You know, imagine that. Your harsher decision is based on how a judge is feeling within their body, and they're completely unaware of that. So learning to direct your awareness into your body, you become aware of when you're getting triggered. So you can see it, you can intercept it. That's certainly how I practice. I'm scanning my body. I'm teaching myself to scan my body more often. And then in a situation, whether it's my daughter that's having a tantrum, or some bad news has come in, or someone has cut me up in the street, I'm scanning my body first. I'm seeing what's going on with my body. Okay, I notice, right, I'm having elevation in emotions. That's not needed in this moment. And then I can intercept that with breath work, for example, or just having that presence in itself is a powerful way of diffusing that unneeded emotional response, that over-triggered emotional response. And so there are 3 practices to try, and this is a skill to practice and develop and to nurture. The first one is just awareness. Learn to bring your mind and your awareness into your body. So you come away from behind your eyes and you're dropping into your body. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? What's going on? Where feels tight? Where feels uncomfortable? So again, linking back to my experience, if I'm in a lower mood, my first port of call when I notice I'm in a lower mood is that, okay, what's going on in my body? Most of the time, I'll notice an area of discomfort. Whether it's a gripping sensation, a pain in my side, I'm trying to learn, what it is. You know, 1, where is it? 2, what does it feel like? 3, is it familiar? 4, can I do something about it? And yes, I can do something about it most of the time. As long as I bring my awareness into my body, I'll begin to just allow it. I'll look to learn about it. What is it? Is it an old injury? What's it trying to tell me? And the more you do that, I promise you, the more you practice this, the more your body just comes alive and starts to speak to you. And for as I said before, much of my life, I was telling my body what to do. I would drive it into the ground in exercise or with various other things. I would just be treating it as a machine rather than working one-on-one with my body. We are a team. And so start to introduce those questions. What's going on with you? Why do I feel like this? What do I feel? So that's the first place to start. Just keep bringing awareness into it. It's not a rush. Just begin to drop your mind into your body. The second thing to do would be develop that body scanning ability, develop into a practice, and maybe do something like cold water immersion. Now, if you don't like cold water, I hear you. I didn't like cold water. But what it teaches me, I'm very fortunate I have the sea at the bottom of my road, so I go in all year round. The colder it gets, the more I learn about myself. I learn about my mental landscape. I learn about my physicality, my body. And it's a surrender exercise. It's not a macho bravado exercise. It's completely surrendering to the elements, letting go. And I feel my body, I connect to my body so much that I've learned so much about myself and my body and what I can do to let go of not just physical pain, but emotional pain. The third thing I'm going to invite you to do is develop a breath practice. Begin to change the way you breathe. Maybe you've already got one. Maybe you've tried a few and you're not sure which one's right for you. But begin to learn how to use your breath. Now I'm going to steer you towards our free guide. It's called the 4 Simple Steps to Self-Care, and covers mobility and yoga to help ease chronic pain. It's going to teach you how to use your breath breath exercises to manage your state and to learn about your body. It's going to give you 3 nutritional changes you can make, easy nutritional changes you make for better health. And you're going to learn how to shift into a success mindset. And it's completely free for you. Download the links below, and you can use that breath exercise or those breath exercises in there to begin this process. And it's completely free. Just click the button below and follow the instructions and you'll have it immediately. And a few extra bonuses actually that are tied into that. So they're the 3: body scanning, cold water immersion, and breath practice. So to summarize part 1 of today, I know there's a lot, we covered a lot today, but by developing the skill to keep your awareness into your body most of the time, so around 80% of the time, you can tune into and hear some truth that comes through. And I would use examples like if you read some news or if you hear some news, what's going on for you? Is it a fear response or does it feel true to you? And there's a difference. Even if the truth is a fearful thing, for me, the truth is here. It's in my chest. It's a physical feeling. Typically for me, in a fear response, it's in my mind first and then in my pit of my gut. And I have to check that. Why am I scared? Why am I fearful? What's going on here? You can also begin to let go of trauma within your body. And I say that trauma has got a huge expanse, hasn't it? But you can begin to do it by body scanning, tuning into certain areas of discomfort. You can unlock it, you can let it go. But you have to be able to feel it first. So if you know that you've had a lot of trauma in your past, then I would steer you towards a therapist, a really good psychotherapist. But for the most of us, all of us have got trauma within us that we can let go. We just have to feel it. We have to be comfortable with that feeling. It gets uncomfortable and then it's gone. Whereas if we keep it in, it's just in us all the time. And we like to think it's not there, but it is. It's influencing us all the time. So to have the confidence and the courage to begin to feel your emotions, to begin to tune into your body and feel your body. If you listen to your body, if you feel pain in an area, then be curious with it. If you cannot connect to your body, then be curious with that. Why can't I connect? What's going on? What's happened? And by tuning to your interoceptive feelings, you can also spot when you're getting triggered. So you'll feel that rise first in your body before you've gone off on saying the things you wished you hadn't said, for example. You can spot it and you can intercept it. You can take yourself away, you can begin a breath practice in the moment to downregulate that overreaction. So I hope that's given you lots of food for thought today. As I said, the free guide is below. 4 simple steps for you to download right now and you can get access to it immediately. Just follow the instructions. And this has been part 1. Next week, episode 14, is part 2. And we're going to look at, okay, for the 20% of the effort we're going to put into, what is that? What does that look like? So thank you for joining again. Please do a review if you've liked this. Like I said, it's going to help more and more people access this content. And see you next week for part 2, episode 14.